I've been having a thought, and a lot more than just a thought, many thoughts that, over time create an idea, an ideology, and I felt like sharing it. I don't think that I'm going to stay and keep this idea in my mind without getting it out there. And what it is specifically is, by the title of the video, what does it really mean to be a human? What does it mean to be human? If you look at animals, and this is going to be a very important message to create a distinction. And we're going to say we're humans and they're animals, even though, scientists are going to say we're all just animals, animal kingdom, yada, yada. But you get what I'm saying exactly. So just to make that clarification, if you look at animals, their objective and purpose in life is to survive. They live to live. They hunt, they have packs and all these things just to survive. I mean, even when you look at the more intellectual animals, when you look at the orangutans, chimpanzees, and elephants, they do have some intellectual traits. But the thing is, they have those traits just to survive. Whereas when you look at humans, we have these intellectual abilities that go far, far beyond even people who believe in the evolutionary theory. When it comes to humans, they have a very hard time explaining how we've gotten to such a level, how we've gotten to such a point. Because evolution and, animals, it's all about survival, where humans have gone way, way, way beyond that. And this is not a video about evolution. This is not a video about necessarily God or religion or any of that stuff. But what it is examining and accepting the reality that we have today and making sense of it. This is not anything theoretical or any conspiracy or anything like that. But what I think it is, in specific, is being able to understand that I'm going to say God, but our God-given talents as humans, and I'm going to use the word talent because it's distinctive from any other animal. We have reasoning to a extent that is unfound in the animal kingdom, that is used to create, not just to survive. I mean, when you see the way people steer their human characteristics, the way they steer it is by indulgence, because we know that survival is no longer, at least for most people, thankfully, an issue. It's more so about being as comfortable and as happy as possible. Being as comfortable as possible will eventually equate to being as happy as possible. So in end be all, it is being as happy as possible. But I feel what is very, very important to take from that, and we can universally accept that, is what means do we acquire that happiness? You have a very, very cliche way of doing it, which is indulgence, right? The very basic way of doing it. I would say, the lowest form of human authority is in form of our, God-given talents, is by taking what we have and acquiring it through indulgence. And let me get in specific here. If you get a lot of money, you make good, you have a good salary, and you think to yourself, how do I make use of this money? I mean, most people would travel the world, they would eat the best food, they would probably have no beneficial impact on humanity or the people around them. 99% of people. The hard, cold truth. And the feeling and reason that I came out here to share these thoughts is because as a human, I have a burning desire to share what goes on in my mind and output it to the external world, not just my internal world, not just my own la la land. I think it's very important to be a contributing factor. And not having contribution to this world is something that pains me. And when I see most people who, and I'm going to get into the, very mainstream, get off TikTok, get off Instagram, it's important to be bored type of thing. And I know it sounds super, mundane because you've probably heard it a million times, but it's important. And I'm going to use this as a subset. It's not specifically what I'm talking about, because it draws back to the point of indulgence. When you're on your phone and you scroll and scroll and scroll for several hours, or you listen to music, even music is an issue, and not a lot of people talk about that. So I think that's a more interesting, less mundane point that I brought up here, is that when you listen to this stuff and all you do is you see things at face value and you don't no longer create. I mean, when I was a little kid, and I'm very thankful for this, because the kids Gen Alpha now, or the whatever new generations that are coming up, they spend a lot of their time not being able to think. And I heard somewhere that their IQ has now like dropped or something, and humanity's becoming dumb. I don't really know. I don't know if that's even true. So don't really quote me on that. But what I do realize is a lot of the times these people, I notice that time goes by so much faster when you're always constantly distracted. And it's obviously a plan. It's a plan. It's not by accident that reels are addicting or TikTok's addicting. And it's not only for the money of those who create these such platforms. There's obviously a more, we'll get into that another time. But these things take away what it means to be human. And again, when I said it's the lowest form of being human, having these talents, is the lowest way of implementing them. I only say that because animals don't have a concept of indulgence. They have a concept of survival. Humans do have a concept of indulgence, but I don't really like to use that word when it comes to creation. When it comes to art, when it comes to spreading knowledge like I am now, when it comes to writing a book, when it comes to reading a book. And me personally, I think what is most important to me is not about how much money I make, not about how many countries I've visited, not about me eating the best Wagyu steak, which of course I'd like to eat. That stuff's nice. But I think what really drives me as a human is being to understand that there is no other creature, at least that we know of, or any creature on the face of the earth, again, at least that we not know of. And I could say that with confidence that there probably is no other creature, but let's not act too arrogant. But with that all being said, it makes me feel like I have a reason to be here. I have a reason to be human. And I feel like a lot of people undermine what it means to be human, and they don't realize the blessing that has been instilled within them. Our emotional value, the fact that I can talk right now and tell you all these things is I don't know how to even explain it. I'm in loss of words, and I usually am not in loss of words. I usually have so much to say, but I think that's the most profound way of saying it. I just sometimes I go by and I feel utterly ashamed when I do nothing. And we're all victim of that. I am by no means I am by no means of importance when it comes to my potential and when it comes to comparing me with people who are of importance. So it's really something to chew on. And I think my overall message here is to realize something that's been pushed relating back to IQ now, that it's very static and there's nothing you could do about it. Which could be, like obviously there's an inherent like thing that you cannot change about your intellect. But that doesn't go without saying that you can maximize it. You can optimize it. You can use it to the best of your abilities. And do you really genuinely believe that is going to be acquired through your daily indulgences, especially of social media and other platforms or whatever the crap you do?